Hello, Empower Tribe. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel, and I so appreciate you. Again, thank you for coming back, and we're going to go over the Book of Awakening for our daily reflections. How is your week going? Um, this week, I am just prepping. I haven't shared with all of you, but something happened recently where they found, you know, what they call like just little uh, tumors in my uterus, and it's TMI, but anyway, they call it endometriosis. And so the only way to take care of this situation is to go through a hysterectomy. It took me a few weeks to come to terms with it, and then decided to go ahead and get the procedure done. So this week is I had my pre-op last week, so this week is really just getting my head space ready for that surgery. I know for some people maybe it doesn't bother you as much, but to me it's like um, I feel like it's a very personal surgery because I feel like taking away the uterus is like a big deal, and I feel like a lot of our identity is kind of placed in the woman's ability to have babies. But anyway, enough of my sappy talk. Let's go ahead and go into our Book of Awakening. Um, Today's passage is titled Having Honest Friends. If you tell me you already understand, I feel a little pessimistic. If you say you do not understand, I feel more optimistic. This Vietnamese monk, so renowned for his insight, helps us remember that no one can live up to their image of themselves. We can only live out our questions. I have learned from both sides, from being the one with all the answers and from being the one with all the questions, that there is no real bond with others until we share the evidence of who we are and not just our conclusions. It's taken a long time, but I finally get it. I cannot have both truth and love in my life until I speak from the I, and stop putting all my pain into you, until I own all my stumblings and stop projecting my misfortunes onto everyone nearby. I have a friend. His name is Alan. We have known each other for 29 years, across 18 states, and through storms we swore we would never let up. We held each other when marriages failed, through accidents and cancers. We held each other up when our grandmothers died. I have seen him in the rain where words can't reach him. I have even seen the rain that is his alone. And here now, because we dared to open our small windows to each other, because we've broken down in front of each other with fragments of what we thought was truth, we have the privilege of asking again, as if for the first time, who are you? I look at him after all these years without protection, and I say, I want to know you. Whatever you have withheld, whatever I have not been able to hear, let us sit in the clearing and understanding each other like old birds whose wings are used now more to huddle than to fly. Having an honest friend, one before whom you can dump all your heart's pockets and still feel that you are worth something, is a form of wealth that will buy you nothing but will give you everything. And mysteriously and rightly, to find such a friend, we must be such a friend. So today's passage is really about friendships and really being able to show the vulnerable side of ourselves, the good and the bad, and the bond that you have with a close friend is so special. And I really like this part where um, I'm trying to find the part that says that. Well, anyway, I couldn't quite find it right now, but really about not blaming you, the other person, for what's happening to you, but take ownership of what's happening to you and be able to really show the real side of you. I think that honest and true friends are hard to come by. I have had friends that come and go, and as I shared before, it takes a lot for me to share about, and not that I'm not vulnerable, but like to really let people into my world. And so whoever gets to be in my world is I wouldn't say they're lucky, but I would say that it is not something that I do very easily. And for me, my most honest friend would be my husband. There are some, we went through a lot of stuff together, and I think that a lot of things that I've gone through, he couldn't quite understand. He came from a very different background than I do. His family is very complete. His mom and dad still together, married for over 40 years. um, they seem to have a little bit more of a normal family system than I do. And so a lot of the pain that I carry through my childhood into my adulthood, and some of the struggles, the trauma, the demons, the depression, the anxiety, it's not something that he can quite understand. And so he's able to see, obviously, as my spouse, the most vulnerable side of me that is not pretty, um, at all. It's very raw and it's very real, and he loved me the same, and I think that's true friendship, is when you are there for each other, not just romantically, but just being there in spirit. I don't think that he can completely get me, just because until you experience something bad, um or anybody's experiences is unique to themselves, right? I don't think as much, just like, let me use an example, men and women, right? We can tell and explain to a man, and men can read how childbirth is, how painful childbirth is, but they cannot physically experience carrying a child for 9 months and then giving birth to them. It's not something that they are privileged to, or physically could experience themselves, right? As much as they want to, they try to, they have not actually experienced that themselves. So same thing. I think having friendship is really important. Someone that can be your confidant, and sometimes you're not just looking for someone to rescue you. There are many types of friends. Friends that you can really go deep with. There are some friends who are more surface, um, and there are some friends who are true, where they can weather storms, right? There's a saying, you know who your true friends are uh, when you are, in trouble, because the ones that are surface, they will flee away from you, and then the ones that are, loyal and truly care deeply, they will be there, and um, no questions asked, and never wanting anything back, very unconditional. And I can still remember I had a surgery, not this upcoming one, but I had a surgery once, many couple years, maybe 2-3 years ago, and the surgery was pretty intense, where I am pretty beat up. My body was pretty beat up, and I'm swollen, and I am raw because I have stitches, and I literally needed him to undress me, and I needed him to shower me. I still remember we have a chair in the shower so that I can sit, and he had to shower me. Like, I am so helpless. I couldn't do anything, and I'm thinking, how unattractive is this? You know, I think it's so super unattractive that you sit there and you're naked and you have someone just showering you. I mean, I don't know. I find that very unattractive. But my husband was there. He was there. He never asked any questions. I mean, I was out. Like, I couldn't really do my basic functions. And I remember I would sit in the recliner, and he would every half hour give me a sip of water. Um, without me asking him for it. And that's the attentiveness and the care, and the good and the bad. That's my dogs just making a lot of noise in the background. But I think I'm very lucky to have found a friend and a spouse, a friend in my spouse that truly care for me. Like this morning, I mean, see, we have our love languages, and every love languages is different. My husband is very more of like act of service. So I remember we went to just a couple days ago. We went to the park with our boys and the dog, and went for a walk. And my gas tank is running on empty, and I didn't put gas in there. And I was thinking today, oh my gosh, now I have to go get gas. And then as soon as I started the car, the truck is on full tank. You know, it's like blessings like that. I don't know, I appreciate it. Like I have full intention to go to the gas station to get a full tank of gas, but the fact that he did that and he didn't tell me, I really really appreciate that, because he shows me that he pays attention and he cares, and he genuinely and taking care of me. You know, you feel taken care of, you feel loved, and it's not something that is like big giant action, you know, flowers, whatever. I mean, that's nice too, but it's practical, you know. And I think that it's those little quiet moments where you just, like today, I felt really loved, because I started my car and I have a tank full of gas, and I'm like, what in the world? And when did he get the gas? I have no idea, you know. I think all of us should have a friend like that. And I've all my life seek a friend like that. And I honestly, when I'm with my husband, I never really thought of him like that. But I think that as time goes, as love grows, as relationship deepens, as there's more vulnerability shown, as there is kind of giving and receiving, you know, that builds the bond. And as bond deepens, the relationship deepens too as well. And I think it gets better and better over time. For me, my friend, my best honest friend happened to be my husband. It can be anybody, you know. I'm sometimes envious of girls who have really good girlfriends, that they can talk about everything and they can cry over everything. And um those are not, I think everybody's definition of friends and how friends show up can be very different. I think they can be of a different age group. I personally am an old soul, so a lot of my friends are a lot older than me. Just because we are able to connect at that level. I think friends can come in all shapes and forms, and some people's best friend is their sister or their mom, or it can be a family, you know. But I think that sometimes we forget to really look and appreciate the people that in our life that we take for granted for, you know. And but I've learned early in my life to never take anything for granted, because life is fragile. And especially now, me going into my surgery very soon, it's a lot of thought about mortality. I mean, I think it's normal. I'm not saying I'm going to die, but I'm saying it's a normal feeling to want to think about those things, and to really put things in perspective, and to appreciate those little things, little moments, little actions, little love signs that they give you, you know. And I'm just so grateful that I have that kind of support. And that happened to be my husband. And I really hope that if you haven't found one, that you will. But sometimes you realize, like I said, I never thought my husband would be my best friend. You know, like I love him because, you know, I fell in love with him. But it's still through the years of marriage, and ups and downs, and that we bond over, and realize that, you know, he is my best friend. Maybe there's someone like that in your life that you always see as a friend, but you never really thought about it that deeply. And when you really think about it, then you might realize that the relationship that you have with that person might be deeper than you think. Well, I'm gonna leave you with that thought. I'm gonna send you off with a grateful heart. Give the person that you felt is your truest of friend a big hug, and say a big thank you to them, because without them, we won't be here, and we won't be filled with love and support when we need them. So I hope this leave you with some inspiration, some perspective, and I hope to talk to you soon. Until we meet again in our daily reflection, you take care and you have a wonderful day.